Welcome to Crypto Radio. We interview the top thinkers and entrepreneurs in the blockchain and cryptocurrency industry. We also cover topics like trading, investing, and ICOs. We're your hosts, Mike Gilliland, Michael Pohl, Chris Sparks, and Yuvi Ivanova. We're entrepreneurs, crypto investors, and co-founders of a new blockchain investment platform called CoSyndicate.io. We created CoSyndicate and Crypto Radio to make crypto investing a better experience for you.
Welcome to Crypto Radio. I'm your host, Yuvi Ivanova. Joining me is my co-host, Mike Gilliland. Today on the show we have Amir, the founder and CEO of Lexit. Lexit is a marketplace for selling intellectual property built on blockchain technology. It lets people sell their IP and find buyers, and it lets buyers to get the best deals. These guys have a solid team and some interesting partnerships in place in Europe, North America, Asia, and other regions. The founding team has been serial entrepreneurs for over 20 years, and they've already worked on several companies together. They've been working on the Lexit platform for the last 2 years and are planning to do a public launch of it within the next year. They're not going to be doing a public crowd sale because they're only planning to raise 10,000 Ether, which they've already almost raised, so they're going to sell out in the pre-sale, which will end in the first week of February 2018. To find out more about Lexit with all the links and mentions from this episode, go to cryptoradio.io/8.
So today we're joined by Amir from the company Lexit, and he's going to give us a quick elevator pitch right now. So Amir, welcome.
Hi, everybody. My name is Amir, CEO and founder of Lexit here in Estonia. Lexit is the M&A marketplace on blockchain. You can sell and buy your companies. You can sell and buy IP and technology.
Perfect. Very cool. Okay, so why did you start the project?
Well, a few years back, we tried to sell technology of one of our previous startups to fund the next one. And we just realized everything depended on our address book. It was almost impossible to find a buyer. So in solving a problem for ourselves, we figured, wait a second, we could actually solve a problem for many, many people in the startup space, because most startups, they fail. And what are you going to do with all this great technology? It's hard to get into the market. You don't know that people in the M&A space or in the technology acquiring space. So we figured this is actually a great idea to build a whole platform on that.
Well, it's cool that you actually came from solving a problem that you had, so you understand that, what the details of that are. How does blockchain fit into this, and what kind of problems is it solving?
When we're conceptualizing the whole thing, the first ideas of Lexit, you have to understand we're developing this since almost 2 years. The first year we were just doing the conceptual on how to fit complexity of M&A into an easy-to-use web interface for first, and how to reflect from a small company to a large enterprise, all of them in a professional and doable way. The problem was just that you as a startup, you don't have the contacts in the M&A space. You don't have the exposure, and if you just crash your startup, the first thing you want to do is you go to an M&A lawyer or consultant, and you will have to make a serious down payment, but you don't have that money because you just crashed your startup, right? So how do you get into that? How do you get access? And this is the problem actually we solve. We're giving you access to the world of M&A. That's what it actually is.
Actually, before we go on, can you just define M&A really quickly for listeners who don't know?
M&A is not as sexy for most people, but it's one of the biggest, probably the largest corporate markets out there. It's 7 trillion, almost large annually. And M&A stands for mergers and acquisitions. It's when, for instance, a company like Facebook acquires WhatsApp. That was an M&A, So it's when a company buys another company. That's basically what it is, mergers and acquisitions.
Perfect. Thank you.
How does blockchain fit into this? Why did you decide to use blockchain?
Well, when we started out, we first run the whole simulations and flows based on fiat. We very quickly realized that fiat is just not doing it. It's way too slow. You go over multiple banknotes until a transaction reaches this point. It's very intransparent and costly too. So we figured, why don't we use cryptocurrency for that payment cycle within the platform? And we figured, okay, blockchain technology is definitely worthwhile looking into it. So we thought using Bitcoin or Ether for that stuff. But then we realized it also has its limitations. Our own token would actually solve all problems and fit right into the space. So wait a second, if we need our own token, we could actually do an ICO and freeze the current seed round we have open. We have had already multiple angel investments from the blockchain space, from our shareholders. I don't want to name them, but the third largest peer-to-peer exchange in the world. The two founders are angel investors here. So we figured we could do an ICO and freeze the seed round, and this is what we did. So we didn't come to the ICO like, we have a great idea, let's do an ICO first, and then we see what's going to happen. Once we have the money, we're going to figure it out. We were already doing it and figured, wait a second, crypto technologies actually solve many, many problems along the way. So this is the token side, why we use a token. And what we do with blockchain technology itself is very exciting, because M&A is a complex space, as I mentioned. And there are two parties. There's a lot of money on the table. So how do you establish an initial level of trust, right? This is not easy. So there's strangers, there's a lot of money, and how do you establish trust? Transparency helps a lot, right? It goes a long way. So what we do is we are monitoring every deal and every action on every particular deal from all parties involved and hashing it into a blockchain layer, making it transparent and accessible to all parties at the same time. So everybody knows what's happening. And this is creating an initial level of trust, which you need to forward in this kind of deals at that magnitude.
Cool. Very interesting. So how did you get into the blockchain space personally?
Oh, personally, years ago, I was installing a node on my laptop to mine Bitcoins, and I couldn't figure it out. It was just, it was just hilarious. This is how it started. I'm a coder myself. I stopped coding years ago because I found people who are better at this and hired them. But I started coding in the 80s as a kid. I'm mid-40 now, so I've been there since over 20 years in the entrepreneurial space. And we figured that it's the future. Look, blockchain as a concept is actually pretty simple. To many people, it's like a complex thing or whatnot, but actually it's not very complicated if you know a little bit about it. But the simplicity of it creates an incredible approach to many problems right now and to transform them into the future. So we quickly realized that blockchain tech is going to not change only finance, it's going to change many, many systems. So this is why we thought, wait a second, if we already revolutionize M&A, why don't we just use the latest technology for that and bring it into a safe and transparent harbor, so to say. This is why we did it.
So do you have any competitors in the space? And if yes, what are they doing? If no, why aren't there any competitors?
This is the crazy part. Nobody does that in a way, because I think the complexity and the hundreds of countries and jurisdictions to solve this from the legal aspect, from the business growth aspect, shies off a lot of people probably. Also, M&A is in the hands from, let's say, the old money, right? It's been a structure built on hundreds of years where companies buy companies and whatnot. But nobody ever tried to grasp this problem at its root core and to find a solution. There are platforms who are selling websites or domains. There are particular small firms who are specialized on patents and all that. They exist, but none of them takes the full scope of an M&A deal into account to build a solution. So furthermore, very important is if somebody would copycat us right now, we wouldn't sweat at all, because part of our Lexit system is a partner program around us, which we establishing over the course of now 2 years. So if you want to catch up with us, you would need to build this strong M&A consultancies partner program around you and make those deals. So we're pretty confident that no matter what, we have quite a head start here.
Great.
You mentioned that you guys were started a couple years ago. So how far along is your project? What stage are you at now?
My co-founders, Dennis and Maya, we go way back like 3 companies. So we're measuring companies here, startups. And so almost 2 years ago, the initial idea was born. The first year, we were just doing concepts and logic and flow, front-end ideas and whatnot. And after the first year, then we actually started coding, and we developed into a beta version where we did not yet implement the wallet system, the internal exchange system, and the token distribution system within the platform. So this is actually the reason why we fundraised to finish the last mile. And as of now, I can say we will launch Lexit in the full running version with everything during spring this year, 2018. So this is pretty exciting. So it's not just a white paper dream, like you have a crazy cool vision, right? And in 4 years you're ready, or in 2, I don't know. It's actually very, very far into the dev, yes.
Great. What does the roadmap look like for the next 6 to 12 months? And what are some of the key milestones and challenges that are going to determine your success?
We just recently started the private pre-sale. We kicked off the roadshow in Asia from it started in Singapore, then Shanghai, then over to Japan and back to Shanghai. This is what's happening right now. We are in the pre-sale in the midst of it. We actually way oversubscribed the allocation for Asia, which is exciting. So we went to Shanghai, right? To me, always a mysterious city of long knives and dangerous people, right? And you go back with a bag of crypto. This is pretty exciting that we made it out alive. No, I'm kidding. China is a great place. Nice people. I don't want to give you a wrong impression. China is amazing. We made new friends, and more important than the fundraise in China was to us that we established strong friendship and partnerships with future M&A partners in the space. So you need to be aware that in China, things run a bit different. You have to be in full compliance with governmental structures as elsewhere, but more in China. And we managed to establish good contacts over there. And also nice to say, we're based in Estonia, Tallinn, with the dev team and everything, but our headquarters are in Singapore. But we will open up shop in Shanghai during the next 4 months, just to signalize how important this market is for us, to help the Chinese economy connect to the Western more, to help both sides to exchange technology and make M&A easier for those two hemispheres.
Great.
All right, so let's talk about your team, actually. What is the core team's background?
So my background itself, myself is, I'm an entrepreneur since 22 years now. I did my degrees back then, and the first thing I did the very same day, and I swear this is true, I was in Germany. I grew up in Germany, and I went to register a company. The lady asked me, so what was I going to do? I said, I don't know. They said, you can't say I don't know. You have to tell me something. So I picked up 10 things and just started doing something. It ended up to be a media production facility. Was my first thing. I was very happy and very proud, but it crashed. As most of my projects and most of the projects of anyone I know, they didn't make it, but a few did make it. So I would say I'm a serial entrepreneur, mostly rooted into technology and media. So Dennis, my co-founder, he's per se a designer. This is how it started out. The moment I met him, he was bartending. So I took him out of this one here. But he has a genuine view on things and a great taste for balance. And he developed himself into a full product guy. He's a CPO. Maya is doing the operations, COO, and her background is academic. She was running research in the University of Helsinki, in particular for online addictions. This is kind of funny, right? So anyways, she knows a lot about how people behave online and why they do things they do. Along the way, she was organizing for the University of Helsinki very large events and budgeting stuff and whatnot. So she was the perfect fit to do operations for us. And yeah, we also go way back 3 companies. So there is full trust in the co-founder team, absolutely like a family. I have to say that. Very important to mention Jason, the CSO. He's running a legal firm focused on ICOs and M&A, so he was a perfect fit. His company is based in Bangkok, Silk Legal. He's just a jack of all trades, great with people, and a full-blown doctor of law, right? So he's kind of a legal backbone in the team. Frederick Prince from Amsterdam is an investment banker, ex-Navy pilot for the Dutch Navy, which is also pretty cool, and has the nerve, is the closer type, and he's the guy, director of business development. Nikita is speaking 8 languages. He's the head of marketing, well-versed in many countries, friends all around the world, and he's masters of marketing, and he's a great guy in general, and just very intelligent. So Majid, very important, the CTO, multiple masters dude, is just a super calm dude, but he is like so clear-minded, right? If there's a jungle of problems, he right away sees the path, right? So he's a genius coder. He's basically the whole concept, the whole technical stack is from him. It's impressive how he works. Did I mention somebody else? We have Krista. Krista is very important to keep the stuff going. She's the executive assistant, also worth mentioning, and helps us currently to relocate in the new headquarters here in Estonia. So yeah, I'm very happy with my team. I can't say more than that. And very important to mention, we're working with Taurus Vision. Tim Frost and his team, dozens of people around the world helping us with the campaign and making basically all this ICO craze possible, right? To us, this is the first ICO we do. And honestly, we had to learn a lot along the way. So they help us a lot and opening up many important doors for us.
Great. Can you tell us a bit more about your advisors, and if you have any strategic partnerships in place, can you tell us about those too?
Yeah, I was in particular proud. We managed to get two top-tier guys from the space. Hartesh Sane from Hosho.io. He is one of our advisors. He's a genuine person, first, highly respected in the industry. His company is one of the well-respected ones who does smart contract auditing. So they are really, really well connected. And also they're going to do the audit for us to make sure that our smart contracts and everything is absolutely impeccable, right? Jaron Lukasiewicz might be known for a few of you guys. He's the founder of CoinSetter in New York City, which he then exited. Also funny, to Kraken, they bought this company. He's a well-connected individual in the crypto space since, I think, the beginning. Jaron is just a great person. Definitely a strong asset for us, and he's just opening up so many doors to top-tier backers, and I'm just excited to work with him. The third one is Nikolai. Nikolai Kapashev is just ex-Googler, right? He was one of the head H&R guys for Google in Europe, in London, and he's fueling us constantly with great talent and everything along that lines. So, yeah, these are the three advisors. And the partnerships we are building up right now, they are based in Moscow, they're based in Helsinki, Finland for Scandinavia, in the Benelux, UK, Spain, Mexico. As we speak right now, closing more and more deals. And before I can't say the name of those four companies, but you might know which ones. They are rooted in auditing and consulting worldwide, the big four, we call them. We're about to close deals with those two and engage in a strong partnership. So they fuel deals to us and we fuel billables for assessments and auditing tasks to them. So I think you get the hint who these are, but I don't want to say the name of the company, which when a contract is not signed yet. So yeah, but it's exciting. The response in the industry is amazing.
Yeah, that sounds great. So let's move on to and talk about the tech a bit. Can you explain the utility value of your token?
First of all, the token itself, to quickly give you an idea of how it works, right? Now I'm selling my startup. I do have to pay a listing fee. You have to do this in LXT, in the token. So if I want to have access to new features, you have to pay LXT. If I am a buyer and I want to have a sneak preview access to offerings which are listed, but still in the executive room, how we call it, which is kind of a non-public space, you have to pay a lot of tokens. So there is a token influx which goes into the community wallet. Then there is a third party on the marketplace, which is the assessors. The assessors are professional M&A people who are picking those listings and requesting them to be assessed, meaning they do a sort of a due diligence, a light one, to give the buyers a better picture on what's on the market and what they think it's worth and why they think it's worth that. These folks get rewarded from the community wallet with plenty of LXT tokens. So this is a value cycle, a closed cycle, where we as Lexit don't participate and don't make an earning or any thoughts of that. All right. So these parties are interacting with themselves and the tokens are exchanging in between them. So this is why the token is a perfect carry our value in the system, way better than we could have done with any credit card or fiat billings or wiring or any sorts of that, right? So this is why we picked the token itself. Then it's very important to mention one thing is that when a deal goes through, the final bid is made, they proceed to the due diligence in the deal room where they invite legal and audit support from all sides to get the deal done, where they draft the agreements, all within Lexit still, right? Where they sign the agreements, all within Lexit. They make the final transaction to exchange ownership, right? And at only this point, we will receive our commission. This is how we do our revenue. The commission varies between 8 to 2%, which is on a penny on a dollar cheaper than traditional M&A first, and 8% below 1 million, 2% above 35 million in volume. Now, they have to pay this commission to us. We only accept LXT, the token. So we believe that strong in our own token that I say, please, I don't want your dollars, I don't want your euros, I don't want even your bitcoins, I want just the token. So this is how we apply the token to the whole platform.
Interesting.
Which platform are you building your tech on and why?
So the token itself is a ERC20. It's on an Ethereum blockchain. It's just, there's so much documentation, a huge community, and it just makes sense for us. You know, if we would have said like, all right, let's build our own blockchain, own protocol and all that, this would draw us back in time too much, right? So there is this existing amazing Ethereum blockchain with the smart contracts and many solutions in place. So we figured this is actually the way to go. So we will build it on ERC20. or we build it on BRC20 in this case.
Great. So moving on to marketing, what are your plans for marketing your project?
I want to be frank now and use this opportunity. I can't hide it anymore because it's already, the community is already asking. We will do an ad drop. So why do we do it? Because we will be heavily oversubscribed in the pre-sale right now. So the pace the sale is going right now, there is no way we're not going to make it. The reason is also we chose a small hard cap of 10,000 ETH only, which is roughly, I don't know, something like $10 million right now. The reason for that is because I believe personally that you should only raise what you really need. Okay, I never understood why you have to raise 50 or 100 million in USD value for your project and you haven't even started, you don't have even a full team. Why do you do that? I never got this. So I believe that you raise what you really need and then you focus on building your thing and make it a success. And hopefully it's going to play out nice for everybody involved who is holding anything. So we have to be careful how we, of course, describe that. I can't promise anything. What I can promise is that we're going to build an impeccable, great platform to do M&A. The tech is great. It's top notch. And yeah, that's what I can say about that.
So what is your go-to market strategy once the project is built?
Well, as I said, the partner program is very important to us because they're going to fuel deal flow to it. We're going to have extensive roadshows along the startup hubs. I'm not talking crypto space in per se. I'm talking all startups around the world. We are a startup. We do understand them. We are a tech startup. And we are going directly to them. And as of now, since we kicked off Lexit publicly in a way, the Lisbon Web Summit last November, on a website, you can subscribe a pre-listing of your startup or your asset or your IP, right? And I'm pleased to say that we have hundreds and hundreds already in, and they're piling up more and more. So what we're going to do is we're going to take those pre-listings and make real listings out of them with the interested subscribers. And when Lexit goes online, this is going to be already probably 1,000 or even way more of real live listings on the platform. So we're starting right away with a crowded marketplace, and this is very exciting to us. And as we learned, look, we're solving a problem for every shareholder involved, right? Since 96% do fail, investors and founders all are interested in somehow making a value out of the failed projects. But then there is the successful ones, the good ones who are, even if they're plateauing, doing revenue and creating value, they'll be excited to have the opportunity to be exposed to the global world of M&A, to get found as a possible target to be acquired. So it's a win-win scenario for everyone. Basically, here is no loser. If it doesn't get sold, at the end of the day, there got to be a reason for that. Probably it wasn't that great after all, right? But the chances are that you will find your buyer on Lexit.
Great. As far as the actual sale goes, are you calling it an ICO, a token sale? What terminology are you using?
Oh, at the moment, we just call it a private pre-sale. We don't call it even ICO because, as I mentioned, as of now, we discussed with the team, we will not do a public round at all. So we will not go crowd. Instead, we're going to do an ad drop. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to just reiterate some of the questions you've already answered about the sale itself. How much money are you raising and why?
All right, we're raising 10,000 ETH only because we believe in raising what you only need. We don't need more to finish the last mile of the dev. So this is why we decided to go that. Plus, it's more attractive to backers. Low caps are actually something which is very positively seen in the scene. So we thought, why we don't keep it concise and only that what we need. So this is why we raise only 10K ETH.
So how do you plan on spending that capital?
Well, we're going to spend the largest part of it for listing fees on exchanges and for marketing, and roughly half of it is going to be spent on marketing and on listing fees because we all know the exchanges are asking, no matter how good you're connected, they're still going to ask something. So we're going to basically spend half of the funds for all that and the other half for development and administration, which is pretty small. So
do you have a vesting period for the founders' tokens?
Yeah, we do have everybody who gets tokens is on a vesting. Some of us, like the core co-founders, they have a little pile right away, but not much. And as we only give out 10% to the founders, to all company shareholders, this is also very, very limited. Also to mention, 50% of all tokens go to market. Okay, so we want the power, so to say, in the hands of the community. We don't intend to, focus the power in our hands. It's not necessary. I want the community to thrive and to use the token to to do great things with it, to use it on Lexit or to use it just solely for whatever they wanted to use it for.
Do you have any restrictions on who can buy your tokens?
As of now, we have to be careful with the United States and Singapore, for instance, but else we don't have any restrictions. No.
And so since you're not doing a crowd sale, when will the tokens be distributed from the private sale?
Right. The private sale is going to be over any time in the next, 7 days, given the pace of the sale. And once this is done, 4 weeks after that, we will be roughly doing the airdrop. When the airdrop happens, we're going to distribute all tokens at the same time, meaning the airdrop pool is going to be distributed at the same time as the backers and everyone else. So in that time, and to take your next questions already, I assume is this one, there is no lockdown. Okay, so we don't believe in lockdowns, and I think people should, if they participate and trust in us and help us in the project, they should not be locked down. And they're usually smart people, and they know what to do, and they know when to hold and when to sell. So I believe let them do what they want to do.
Great. So final question, what's your quick pitch? Why do you think people should get involved in your project?
So Lexit is an amazing opportunity because it's the first M&A marketplace. M&A is a huge $7 trillion almost in volume every year. We will improve M&A. We're going to do to M&A what Uber did to taxis, and you should definitely take a look into it. Lexit from Estonia, from Singapore, and soon from Shanghai. We love you all.
Great. Awesome.
Awesome.
So thanks for joining us. We'll include all of the resources and everything to your project at the end of this episode. And I think we're done.
Thank you. My pleasure.
That's it for this episode. If you want to learn more about Lexit, go to cryptoradio.io/7 for all the links and resources. And make sure you don't miss out on future interviews with blockchain startup founders. Subscribe to Crypto Radio at cryptoradio.io. Our podcast launch contest is still going, and we've already announced the first few winners. To find out how you can join the contest by leaving us a review and sharing our show on social media, go to cryptoradio.io/contest.